Axiata titled Gearing Up for Your First Job with the Axiata University Leadership Development Program. So this session will be moderated by Adam Azhar, the lead of Axiata's Brand and Communications, and Haris Amin Nunis under Brands and Communication Protege. And our speakers for this session consist of Axiata University Leadership Development Program alumni, where they will be discussing on the sought after program. So make sure you give your full attention so you don't miss out on any important tips, tricks, and everything you need to know about the program. And before I pass the floor to our moderator, we would like to remind our audience that you are highly encouraged to drop your questions and feedback in the chat box, and our panel will respond live throughout the session. I will now pass the floor to our moderators. Gentlemen, all yours.
Thanks very much, Tanya. Bob, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dania. Thank you for the introduction. So here we have, thank you everyone for tuning in to our ULDP program on Grad 1 Live. So we'll be introducing our panel, our speakers first. So Suraksha, over to you. You can introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Suraksha Mohan. I am actually a psychology graduate from HELP University and also from the ULDP cohort 10, if I'm not mistaken, and the most 11 is it? Sorry, 11, the most recent cohort. Similar with Ignatius and Putri. Yeah, I graduated from a psychology program from HELP University, and I'll be joining EY soon as a business consultant. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, Ignatius.
Yeah, hi
you guys
everyone.
Are from 10.
Yeah, 10.
Hi everyone, good morning. First, I would like to say it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Ignatius. I am currently a penultimate year law student at the University of Malaya, Faculty of Law. So that means I'm going to my third year, still got 2 more years to go. Like Suraksha said earlier, we graduated together from cohort 10, ULDP. And yeah, today we'll do our best to answer all your questions and help you, just answer your inquiries. Yeah.
Lastly, Putri.
So hi everyone, my name is Putri and I'm currently doing social communications back in UPSI. Just like Ignatius, I'm in my second year heading towards my third year, and I graduated from the same batch as these wonderful people. I was actually in the same group as Suraksha. So I guess we're here to answer all your questions before you get prepped up for cohort 11. So yay!
Awesome. Thank you to the three of you. I think, Bob, why don't we just tell them also a bit about ourselves? Me, as an example, I am currently the brand and communications lead for Axiata Young Talent Program, but I was also a part of the University Leadership Development Program, cohort 1, way back in 2013. And then I joined, I joined Axiata Group after graduating. And after that, I was put into the talent program, the Young CEO Development Program, cohort 2. So I've had quite a fun and wild journey with Axiata Group in terms of career development wise. Yeah.
Okay, as you guys can see, he's actually our senior. So he's from the very first batch of ULDP. So don't mind the age. For me, on the other hand, my name is Haris Amin Nunis. I am a graduate of Axiata's ULDP cohort 7. Yes, cohort 7 back in 2019. After that, I continued with Axiata's internship program, which is their AIP program. And now, once I was done with their AIP program, I continued with their protege program, which is what I am in right now, which offers a 1-year contract with Axiata. So, and Adam is technically my supervisor. So I've been with him throughout my journey since ULDP, since 2019 up till 2021. Yes. So that's a bit of introduction about all of us. So Adam, how do you think these people will actually be interested in joining ULDP? Like, can I know what is...
So, okay, I guess before we jump into that portion, just to set the scene, right, on today's conversation, it's all about gearing up for gearing up for your first job or your first landing point, your career landing point after graduating from university. And I guess we would also be delving into the bit of what exactly do employers look for in fresh graduates or other potential candidates. Yeah, and then we'll slowly jump into the ULDP portion of things. So I guess to start, to get the ball rolling, from an employer's perspective, what we look for in an individual who's applying to join us fresh from university, it's not just the academics portion. We're not looking for individuals who are, highly versed with getting good results in their exams 4 flat throughout the entire 4-year program, or if it's a shorter program, 4 flat still. We're not looking for individuals that are just book smart. We're looking for someone who's a bit more balanced in terms of being active in extracurricular activities, being engaged in the community he or she is a part of, so on and so forth. So the point here is we're looking for someone who, grade-wise, it's good still, but not necessarily the best. But when it comes to the softer skills side of things, has also a lot to offer. So well-rounded in that sense. And how that ties back down to our conversation today, how that ties down to ULDP, it's more so of how all of you who are tuning in here today as undergraduates can latch onto the University Leadership Development Program, and in a sense, use it as a platform to either kickstart the building up process of your soft skills, or if you've kickstarted that process through clubs and societies in universities, then how can you then use this as a platform to sharpen those skills? And together with here today, we have Ignatius, Sue, and Putri, who are from the most recent batch of ULDP, and they would be sharing insights on how can you best work on your application to ULDP, as well as what are the kind of like insights per se of what takes place in the program in the entire 2 weeks duration. Yeah, so just to set the scene, Bob, back to you, to your first question.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for getting the ball rolling, Adam. So as you can tell, it's all about real world exposure. So that is what companies are looking for in a candidate nowadays on. It's no longer book smart only. So as you can see, all 3 of them, Suraksha, Ignatius, and Putri, all of them have those little experience in those areas. So from here, can I know, like, from Putri, like, what do you do? What is your real world exposure, and like how do you help in that sense? Like, I know you had joined some NGO events before as well. So those kind of things is what we are looking at as well. So Putri, can you tell a bit of what you do on that end?
All right. So in terms of ensuring that I just don't be like book smart, just like read and then like spill everything on the exam paper, right? And should I have some real life world skills? So I actually joined several things to amp up my skills, like the Maybank Ambassador Program, and previously I volunteered with this NGO called Bulan Sisters, but then it ended. And then I also participated in several businesses competitions, and ULDP is one of the programs that I joined in. And of course, it is the program that I think gave one of the biggest impact and shaped my soft skills, my hard skills as well. And I feel like with ULDP, there were tons of business simulations, right? And with those business simulations, in me being a comm student, obviously that also, I feel like it also screams like, hey, I'm not good at math, no numbers. And of course, like I can always stay on that route of being like, yeah, I'm just not good at math. no adding up for me. But I think I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and just learn more and grow. I think with all the business simulations and the amount of budgeting that we had to do in those business simulations, as well as the CEO challenge, I think it really helped me in terms of like creativity as well, and just I guess like challenging myself, like challenging my limits, you know. I think those are one of the things that I really cherish, and not to mention that, you know, when we're talking about not being book smart, I think that also includes like soft skills, right? I think with ULDP, this is one of the best programs so far in terms of helping me to really sharpening out, not just in terms of networking, but making real life friendships. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay,
I like that last point about the bit about real life friendships. So you can see from, I mean, the panel today, right? You have Sue and Putri who are from the same group, and they kind of became besties after that. There's you from your batch, Bob, also with a few others, and me from my batch with a few others.
Yeah,
I think
that
the
is
network really
actually-
sticks.
Yeah, the network actually sticks like throughout years of knowing each other as well through ULDP. There has never yet been a cohort where people don't actually gather for no reason. Even through virtual, even though through virtual meetups, since those who are fully vaccinated now, they will actually still gather up to meet up once at least, because they want to see how they can actually connect with each other even more. Because when it comes to ULDP and work life as well, it also relates back to connection between people. So, so Ignatius, what are your soft skills that praise yourself to actually include yourself in ULDP? What give you that push?
Thanks for the question, Harris. I think that's a very interesting one for me because, to be very honest, I applied for ULDP with zero expectations. I was quite uncertain at first because I was actually juggling a few things at that time. So I was a bit worried about the intensity. You hear all these stories of people. Oh, there's a lot of late nights. You're gonna be pushed to your limits. And true enough, I was. Definitely, I was. But the fun thing about that is, so coming from a legal perspective, I was always trained to, the mindset of like a law student. And I felt that it can be quite restrictive at times because you only see the world from how based on your background. So I really wanted to give myself that little push and say, okay, look, I need to branch out. I need to do more things. And then I think that was really the motivation that forced me to apply for ULDP because with hindsight, right, I feel I've gained tremendously from joining ULDP in terms of firstly improving my business acumen, secondly having a business background, how my critical thinking ties in with that. So and thirdly, I would like to bring up that point again about the networking in the relationships, right? Yeah, just to point it out there, my group, I'm from group 6. Our group chat still buzzes every now and then, and we still talk about things like, relating back to ULDP and stuff. And yeah, we'll definitely be meeting up once things get better. So yeah, so you see, not only is ULDP a great place for you to heighten your business acumen through the workshops, and you also go through a lot of masterclasses, which is very, very useful. Just like Putri, I hated numbers. I can't really do math, but ULDP actually forced me to, get back into the math zone again. I tried, but that's more important, right? You're trying and you're learning. So yeah, and not only that, you also build meaningful relationships. So I think that's really important. How, especially with everyone with diverse backgrounds, you never know, right, who you will meet in future, whether whether you guys can help each other out in the future. So yeah, I think that was really helpful, and honestly, I really gained a lot. Like looking back, I have zero regrets. Although it was really intense, but it was worth my while.
Cool. Thanks, Ignatius. Bob, before I pass it back to you, I think just to chime in, to all of those that are tuning in, if you have any questions about the University Leadership Development Program, or even what we look for as an employer in fresh graduates, just feel free to drop that quick question in the chat box, and we'll get to it.
The chat box is open for you guys, so do key in. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Ignatius. So as you can see, Ignatius actually was talking more about learning yourself even better, right? So knowing, I would say, your true self, knowing what you're more capable of. So you're saying ULDP actually provides this, how to say, support system to oneself, actually diverging into yourself even more. So is it true that also it's not just about learning yourself a lot more, but it's also more technical compared to any other challenges or any other programs that you have faced? So, Raksha?
I think what's really cool about ULDP compared to other programs is that you have that whole learning part. You go through some workshops, you get to listen to some really great speakers and people who are actually very experienced in their field. Then after that, after you go through all the learning and the workshops and theories, you will straight away go into the practical, which is actually the business simulations and the challenges and everything like that. So you do get to use the knowledge that you learn from the beginning to the very end. And the thing that's so cool about ULDP is that the business fundamentals that they touch on really is very diverse. It's different parts of business. It could be about finance, it could be about innovation, it could be about how you pitch. It's a lot of different things. So it really tests you on different elements and different aspects of business. And you get to practice your skills, and also you get to learn from other people because you're not only just presenting as your group, you get to see other groups present and you get to get feedback straight away from your group mates, other group mates, or even the judges or the other organizers and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool because you don't get just theory, you get the theory, you get the practical, and you also get the feedback. And like Ben used to say, 360 feedback is very important, guys, because this is where you know where your weaknesses are and how you can improve from them, and where your strengths are and how you can help your group mates in that. So, yeah.
Yeah, 360 assessment, it's where people technically indirectly judges you at the same time. So yeah, that was actually quite experience for me as well for 360 experience because you thought you know yourself, but people actually know other sides of you. It's like the Johari window about yourself, so on. So yeah, thank you, Suraksha, for sharing in that sense. So as you can see, all three of them actually came from different background, and three of them have different soft skills. So it's not limited to any of you who wants to apply for ULDP to actually think yourself like you're not capable of such requirement or such expectation, because there will always be that certain something in someone where other people see as a special gesture to them. So technically one man's unused clothes is another man's treasure, so to say. So yeah, on to that. In terms of your experience, Ignatius, what do you think of ULDP? What was the most challenging part? Beside numbers, I mean, all of us can agree that we actually don't like numbers. None of us do. So yeah.
I think the most challenging part for me was actually firstly being able to get myself in that zone, because when we first got in, we went through a couple of days of workshops and master classes, and we exposed various talks and all that. So when it came to the first business simulation, was the expansion challenge. It was really hard for me to initially adapt because firstly everything was still so new. I think at this point, for everyone especially, it was so new to all of us, and we were just many of us were actually like kind of struggling or finding it difficult to adapt to the environment. How do you plan your, firstly plan your product? How do you design your product? What do you look for? What is important? What data is important in your pitch, and so on and so forth, right? So this skill was very much new for me, and that point in time was actually my steepest learning curve, right? Because these things you're still learning. The first part of the program you're still learning, and yet you're already pushed into a business simulation that forces you to apply what you've already learned. So I think that for me was the hardest part. Yeah, and definitely the other business challenge and it only gets harder from there, to be honest. So everything is just culminates to the culmination, the peak, the CEO challenge, and that is where you apply all the skills that you've learned throughout the program. And it's really true because whatever you actually learn in the program is applied at the last challenge. And I think it's the same for everyone here. But to me, definitely the first portion was the hardest, definitely.
Thank you, Inisha, for sharing. So the hardest part is also, I think you guys can also agree that one of the hardest part is pretty much getting some sleep because all of the eye bags are still hanging from ULDP until now. So as you can see, 2019 ULDP eye bags is still with me up to 2021. So it's also a skill that you gain is not sleeping without caffeine. So which all of them actually went through. So this is actually quite an interesting question for all of you. So I'm pretty sure everyone has a different side of this. So what are your how do you presume, like, does ULDP gives you that competitive edge between one another? Even though you're in the same team, does it still give you that competitive edge? I can start off with Putri.
Ooh, competitive edge. Wow. Okay, interesting question, definitely. I mean, to be frank,
You have your
yeah.
groupmate here.
Okay.
You do have your groupmate here.
I mean, competitive edge, if in a sense where, like, hey, I wanna like, put something real cool on my CV, then yes. But competitive edge, if it were in a sense where like, hey, I just wanna like, bulldoze everyone and I wanna win, I wanna be the best person, to be honest, no, because like going in, my mindset was actually very, very similar to Ignatius, where I kind of was like, I mean, I want to join in, but why am I joining in? And at that one point, of course, I kept asking my friends, like, oh my God, guys, how was your LDP? And everyone said that, hey, it was fun, but it was hard. No sleep, but cool, really cool though. So getting all these responses, right? I'm like, might as well just go in with the mindset of like, I want to learn. So having that in mind, I didn't think much about to win. Actually, the whole team of G5, we didn't think to win at all. Throughout our whole entire discussion during business simulations, we didn't think to win. But somehow we got like the top 3 all the time. And we were actually very, very shocked. And we realized that probably because we weren't so fixated on winning and we weren't fixated on like taking any other groups down. Instead, when any other teammates from another group, like let's say for Ignatius group or for like our friend Jiha's group, ask for help, ask for ideas, we gave it to them genuinely. I think those are the things that really helped me to see and really made me feel like, hey, ULDP is really a safe space. You can ask anyone, the support will always be there. You can ask your colleague, like the advice will be there. You can ask help from your teammates and they can cover you up, because there are some people, some teammates where you as a student, you have like assignments, you have team meetings going on as well, you have ULDP going on as well. I think the most important thing that I've learned is just, it's not to be competitive. Instead, it's just to communicate better. And I think it really, really helped me in that particular sense. But I don't know if Suraksha felt any sort of like competitiveness towards me, maybe in memes, but I'm not too sure.
I like to add on to Putri. Okay, for the memes part, I do agree. Because in our WhatsApp group chat, right, I think my group, our group, we had like a really great chemistry and crackhead energy. So we're always sending stickers and trying to see whose sticker can be like better than the other. But okay, slightly different opinion from Putri. There was competition, but I feel like my main competition was myself, honestly, because I came to this program with no expectations, because I was actually like introduced to this program by my friend who was in the previous cohort, and she's like, you should do this too. She's also a psychology student, but she was from Sunway.
That's
Rainy,
free.
if you know.
Oh no, or Renu.
Oh, Renu.
Yeah, so she told me to join
okay.
it, and I was like, okay, let's give this a try. I'm not sure how it's gonna be, but I was just hoping, please, for these 2 weeks, I need good group mates, please, please. I do not want to crash and burn. So yeah. So one advice that I got during this ULDP from one of our mentor, he said, right, is actually to take risks. Because during this program, it's where you can, fail, you can try, and it won't make such a big impact as if compared to if you go to work and actually screw up something there. So he said, like, to take risks, to challenge yourself to do something where you cannot do it outside, and if you fail, it'll be a bigger impact. And what was very interesting is one of our group mates, Yiling. She's also a psychology, but she also has a minor in marketing. So what she did was, after we getting his advice, she straight away took on a finance role. So that's very out of her comfort zone. And I was like, wow, I salute you. I respect you. And I really like that about how she's like, okay, this is it. I need to try. And I guess like that was like in a way kind of competitive to me. I was like, okay, I need to challenge myself more. If Yiling can do it, I can do it. So so that competitiveness was there, but also because we are assigned to groups, right? I have to say like because we're group 5, I always say like, okay, like group 5, we got position for each challenge, right? We can go to finals, right? Confirm. We can do this. And then we didn't make it to the finals. But there was a low-key a little bit of competition in like each of the challenges. We never aim to get top 3 or anything like that. We always hope for, just to do our best, and then hopefully we get something. That's why whenever the judges announce our name, they'll be like, oh, really? We made it? Really? It's very shocking. So, but it's nice to see other people's ideas, because we all have the same challenges, and how they come up with their own ideas, their pitch, their product, and everything. And you can see like, oh, okay, I learned something new. It's a new competition. You a competitor, and you learn from them, and then maybe in the next following round, the next challenge, you take in a bit of what they have shown, and then you apply it in your next round as a group. So yeah, I guess in general, I am my own competitor, and I'm also the other groups, just a little bit. But I love you guys all, okay? So Ignatius, even though you're in a different group, I still love you.
I mean, without competition, it's a bit hard to actually excel as well, because you wouldn't know your limit, I'm guessing, right? It wouldn't push you to the edge to actually leap onto a new ledge. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess so we have about half an hour left. Why don't we jump into the questions that are coming in from the crowd listening in to our chat here today. So let's see. The first question that we have comes from Rizwan. He's asking, how can I develop my critical and creative thinking skills beside joining ULDP? Perhaps through reading books, traveling for new perspectives, networking, so on and so forth. If to the 3 of you, to answer Rizwan's question in a one-liner, what would that be? Like, what else can you do to develop your critical skills and creativity skills? Maybe Sue can go first. This is
I can take this question.
Yeah.
I think, okay, one way is actually to like read books and whatnot, but I also think that the best way for you to learn is actually to get that experience firsthand. Joining ULDP is one step, but for me, because I actually co-founded a business with a few friends of mine, and actually got another business. So I have like 2 businesses running out right now. So because of this, right, it really gave me hands-on experience, and I don't have any business background. I'm a full psychology student. So you really learn while doing it and meeting the people. Getting yourself a mentor can also help you with that also, because they can teach you what you want to know. But yeah, I think it's the experience itself that really helps a lot. Not just, you learn from books, but practical is better.
Yeah, I think getting your hands dirty, right? And just doing it. That's the main thing. Putri?
Yeah, I'd just like to add on, I guess, like when it comes to like critical thinking and like creativity and other skills. Actually, there's like one business simulation in ULDP that's perfect for it. you wouldn't even know what's coming your way. When we were in that particular business simulation, where it was kind of like a conferencey thing, you will then know how important it is to think on the spot and to actually give great responses and to actually come up with like a mitigation plan in just like a very, very short amount of time, having to collaborate with people from different groups as well. So in terms of that, I actually think that particular business simulation that's available in ULDP is perfect for you, especially if you want to sharpen up in that particular sense, right? Because coming from like a comm student, I feel like technically, the whole press conference thing, it should have been my thing. You know, it should have been my thing. Man, I can PR all the way, right? Should have been. But no, you know, I was like, I think at that particular time, I only realized how important it is for me to be quick with it, how important it is for me to be really creative with my teammates in terms of our mitigation plans and everything, right? And that's why I think you should apply for cohort 11.
Thanks, Putri. And I think to Lavanya, if you're listening to, if you're still tuned in and if you just heard what Putri described, I hope that answers your question on how ULDP makes you to be more confident with facing challenges, especially the unknown ones. Just to echo what Putri said, one of the business simulations that we get participants to undertake is to not spoil it too much for you if you're keen on applying. It's a press conference, and pretty much as a participant, what you would be doing is you would be taking up the role of a C-suite executive from a certain corporate entity, and there's a crisis that now you have to manage. Now, how do you manage the different stakeholders that are now in the crowd questioning you? Yeah, we're not going to go into any more detail apart from that, but yeah. So when you're thrown into situations like that where you need to think on your feet, and there's no, there is no option for you to just walk away and leave the crowd. You just need to manage them. What do you do? Yeah. So it's things like that that make you, I guess, in a sense, hard challenges like these are the things that kind of nudge you nudge you and make you more confident once you complete the 15-day program with us. Yep, so that's to Lavanya's question. But yeah, we haven't touched on Ignatius' answer.
I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I think one way you can actually prep yourself is definitely mentally. Go when you apply, or if you intend to apply, have an open mind. Don't limit yourself based on what you've been doing previously. Definitely at the same time, read up on some business stuff, go on Google, go on YouTube, watch how these programs actually prep you for, what these programs will actually train you for. But more importantly, I think from my experience, it was preparing myself mentally because I didn't know what to expect, right? I went in with zero expectations. Yeah. And at the same time, it was a really hard learning point for me. So it's really going to drill you. It's really going to be intense. And that's why it's important to tell yourself, look, okay, I came here to learn, right? The whole point about joining ULDP is growing and learning and being a better you than you were before you joined the program. So I think it's very important to have that mindset throughout. Otherwise, you're just going to, you're just going to compare yourself to others. Oh, like, how come this group did so much better? How come this person is so much better than me? But don't do that, really. I struggled a little bit with that because initially, like I said, it was hard for me to adapt. But, it's more important to have that mental fortitude to tell yourself, okay, look, we're all here to learn, right? That is the main point of joining ULDP. So try and tell yourself this throughout the program or when you want to apply as well. Ultimately, everyone is here with the same goal. Perhaps some people may join to win, but the main point is everyone joins to learn, and that is and that is the best takeaway that you will have from this program. So yeah, my advice is just have an open mind. Look up some business stuff. Yeah.
I think just to add into your point, right, about winning. Yes, it's a learning and development program, but to keep things interesting, there is a certain element of competition to it still. And I think this echoes what Putri and Sue mentioned earlier. See, if it's just a learning and development platform with that bit of the competitive element to it, there's a chance that you as a participant might take it a bit too chill. But when there's an element of competition to it, everyone kind of innately apply it because they want to learn, yes, but there's also something that they want to either prove to themselves or prove to the others that are around them. So because of that drive, people tend to push each other in a good way. I have to add that in a good way to do better in the 5 different simulations that actually take place. So and I think just to chime in a bit more on the 360 evaluation bit, right? What happens is after each simulation, or rather during each simulation, there will be an observer that pretty much follows the team silently, observing how they perform as a group, as well as an individual. There would be you assessing yourself, how you think you perform, and then you hear your team members assessing how they think you performed. So after each simulation, there will be a debrief with all of these, with everyone involved. And if there are any dissatisfactions, if there was any friction that took place as a team, that will all be addressed there and then, so that when the next business simulation starts, you come in stronger as a team. So that's pretty much the learning here at ULDP.
Sorry, Adam, just to add on very quickly on that.
Sure.
This is something that I really wanted to say because you brought that up, right? The reflection. So in the program, after every simulation, you given a time, like Adam said, you will discuss together, do a post-mortem. And one thing that will really keep you moving forward is when you really dissect what went wrong and how you can improve together as a team, right? So if one person made a mistake, don't fault them. We're all there to learn. Instead, think about how you could the challenge or the simulation could have done better, and then learn from it. And then when you move on to your next program, bear in mind whatever mistakes or other things that you could have done better, and apply that in your next program. So that will actually help you a lot, right? So it keeps you present at all times. It gives you a sense of presence of mind, and also that helps you grow together as a team. And also, it's just healthy, creating a healthy environment for everyone to just learn and make mistakes.
Yeah, thanks, Ignatius. Okay, before we jump into the serious questions, or the fun/serious questions, that what we've been talking, let me just answer a question from Lashvini. Okay, would participants be bonded to Axiata Group Berhad or Axiata Foundation after graduating from the program? No, the programs that fall under Axiata Foundation, i.e. ULDP, YCDP, and the secondary school program, it's all part of our CSR initiative, our way of contributing to the nation building of this country, as well as the countries that we are present in across the region. So to that, because of that, no, the programs are all fully sponsored. There is no bond between you as a participant with the group or even with the foundation. But of course, it would be nice to see all of you come back as alumni to volunteer once in a while, or even to just, partake in the alumni association activities. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Lashvini. Okay, next off, we have a question from Ashvin.
Yeah, we actually also have one from Joshua here, but you can go on first. From Ashvina.
Okay, yes, sir. From Ashvina, right? Okay, so Ashvina's question is, could you share some tips on working with individuals in a team from different backgrounds, especially those whom you just met? So yeah, the key point here is individuals with different backgrounds, and that can be in terms of, most likely education backgrounds, as well as the fact that you just met them and you're thrown into an intense business simulation. How do you deal with that? How do you embrace the differences and work together to actually produce something that's damn good? Yeah, so who wants to go first?
We have 2 group members here, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So how are you guys able to work with each other? What are your tips of working with each other?
I'm pretty sure G6 had a little bit more structured way to do it, considering that they had Razan, you know? So the mastermind of G6, right, I guess in a way. Sue, how did we do it? I don't know, man. Like I think at one point our group just really vibe, but honestly, from a individual perspective, how I did it was that I actually sit back. That's what I did. I sit back first and observe how how is the team dynamic is going, and because we did have like people from various backgrounds. So we have psychology, we have comms, we have engineering, um, a few others. Yeah, and I feel like what we did was that we didn't focus on our differences so much, and we did focus a lot more on how we can just interact genuinely. For me, that's from my perspective, that's what I feel. And the fact that when I actually just like sit back and I see like, okay, who's taking the lead and whatnot, I think it's easier for me to identify how am I supposed to act or react, and it gives me a better idea of like how am I supposed to talk to this one teammate, right? Because you're not supposed to talk with everyone in like just one way. And then there's also the whole culture that we have going on, that when somebody says a different opinion or suggests a different opinion, we don't take it personally. We don't take it personally at all, because we recognize the idea that, okay, that is just one idea, another idea. So we don't have to go all ballistic and be like, huh, so you don't like my idea? Is it bad? Like, no, like we actually just went ahead and think like, okay, vote now, guys. Which one do you guys think is better? Okay, so we'll probably go with this one. Which one is the team is more convincing? So a lot of decisions that we made, one of the ways that it was a lot more easier for us to bond and actually just do a really damn good job, as per what Adam has said, is that we make decisions together, big decisions together. I mean, for sure, some along the ways, like we did kind of like fall into like the rabbit hole a little bit, but we managed to find our way through, and I think we managed to communicate better then. But maybe my fellow teammate would like to add on.
Okay. I think for our cohort, it was kind of unique because we had more engineering students compared to other field, and I think for our okay, so we started our okay. How do I say this? Okay, we didn't really have like a okay. We're gonna have 30 minutes to get to know each other. We just did a very brief. Hi, my name is what. I'm from what uni and my background. So we just know. Okay, we know what's your background. We can kind of see what is your strengths and what areas you're good in. Then we straight away was sent into a breakout room and they're like, okay, this is your first challenge. Here's your data pack. And we were like, okay, how are we going to do this? Let's read it first. Okay, we read it. We came back together and we're like, I think we're all on the same mindset that we're lost right now. They were like, yes, we agree. And then we came to it's just like a mutual agreement. Okay, we're here as a team. We have growth mindset. We're here to learn. We're here to grow, and we're going to do this together. Differences aside, we have our own strengths, we have our own weaknesses, and it can play our own parts. Like being a psychology major, we have a different perspective of how we can view business from engineering major, from a architecture major or whatever. Because like in our group, we had no business students, literally no business, accounting, or finance students. So can you imagine us surviving these 2 weeks of business challenges without a business student? So we know that we have to pull our weight. We have to be together as a team. There's no I in team, and we have to be in this together. And teamwork was really, really important. And I think that mutual agreement or understanding that we are here for each other, and that's why, like what Putri said, throwing ideas or having discussions was very easy for us because it was there was a mutual understanding that we're here to learn. And I guess we also were very democratic pula sudah. Democratic. So whenever you give an idea, we will always like look at it and see whether it's doable or not. But sometimes it does go down into the rabbit hole because we have so many people from different backgrounds that we have so many different ideas, and to see which actually works. But I think overall as a group, we were quite chaotic. We were quite messy.
Yeah. But I would say that we compromise and assist a lot. We didn't focus so much on like, let's be the leader, my way is the highway. So I think that's a very important mindset to have.
I agree. I think a lot of groups had like their own, okay, you will be the leader for this round or something. But for us, it's like, it feels like everyone is the leader because everyone is doing their part and always voicing out and speaking. So it's really nice, actually. Ignatius, would you like to share about Group 6? Because I know their dynamic was so much more different.
Yeah, let us in. What happened in G6?
Well, as Sue and Putri have pointed out, I was from Group 6. Our dynamic was quite a unique one, I would say. It was a very interesting way how we actually built up the team's dynamic and chemistry. So initially, we actually kind of wanted to set our expectations, right? Okay, we were like, okay, what do you guys want out of this program? So we wanted to get that straight first, so that we know how much we can actually push each other and how much we can actually aim for, right? Instead of just going, of course, some people want to win and all that. So upon building that base, what we really did was we wanted to give everyone a turn to try and be lead and take on different positions and roles, right? Of course, when I say setting expectations and all, it's always easier said than done. And when it came to our first business challenge, trying to understand each other was really, really tough because, like the question said, everyone is from diverse backgrounds. We don't know who is good in what and where someone lacks in what, right? So when it came to our first business challenge, it was more about testing the waters with how we are as how do we bring our individual differences together as a team and how do we work together, right? So, and that I wouldn't say it didn't really pan out well. It was a really great learning session for us as we really understood each other's strengths and weaknesses better. And moving forward, through our reflection session, what we actually did was, okay, we dissected each other's strengths and weaknesses. And then moving forward, we continuously did that. And then we found a sweet spot where, okay, look, so this guy is good in this, he lacks a little bit of this, let's compensate with someone else, right? With someone else's strengths. So what we did was we leveraged on our strengths and mitigated our weaknesses with the team's chemistry and whatever we are good in. So we really found our chemistry and we really became in sync towards the third quarter of the program, really. And at that point, we really understood each other's backgrounds and strengths much, much better. So I think the best way is actually to put yourself in those situations, go through the program first, and then find that sweet spot, find that chemistry between yourselves and your teammates. And then you really understand how each person works. Or you may be really unfortunate and from the start you will like know already, okay, this guy is good, this person is good in what, but more realistically speaking, I think it will be more about testing the waters first, going through the challenges in the program first before you really understand each other better. And that is where your co-leads and your observers come in to help you. They actually give you an evaluation, they tell you how the team can work better and so on and so forth. So listen to that as well and implement it throughout the program. And I think you'll be good to go.
Thank you, Ignatius. To add on Suraksha's and Putri's point about like diving in and not having any accounting or finance student in your group, my group went through that. We only had engineers, biochemistry students, and so on. We were like, but then when it comes to maths, everyone just like, wait, okay, can you do this? No, I'm taking this, you do this. No, you do this. We kept on passing on to the point where okay, since we already done with cohort 7, it was back to we had to steal someone who's good with maths to actually ask them to help us. And in order for us to do that, we had to like chip in a bit of tokens to them.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Just to add on to that point though, about, I mean, if anyone is still a bit unsure whether they can apply to the program or not, I think we've highlighted that the participant demographics have been quite diverse cohort after cohort. But if you still have any doubts, I just want to point out that I did culinary. I was supposed to be a chef, but I joined this. So yeah, if you think your degree doesn't relate, think again. Okay.
I can second that with my business IT degree, but I'm doing this with him as well. So yeah. So okay, we actually have one more question here we have in regards to how do you guys deal with conflicts among teammates? Yeah. First, okay, you guys answered with how you guys work together as a team, but how do you guys deal with problem within teammates? Yeah, Ignatius, you can go first from group 6. What are your thoughts about it? How do you deal with them?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question and a relevant one, especially when you meet people from different backgrounds. I think for my group, we didn't really have like very intense conflicts or conflicts per se. We just had academic disagreements. To put it nicely, everyone at one point, everyone had different ideas about something about a particular program. I won't mention what. Keep the surprise for later. But we didn't. Yeah, what was good was that we didn't want to dismiss everyone's idea or point of view immediately, right? So how we dealt with it was, okay, we just accept your point of view, then we try and re-explain it and see how does it work out in our current situation, right? And then if someone still feels against a particular point of view, then we'll try and reason together, honestly. But at one point, I think there was, I wouldn't say heated, I wouldn't say tense, but it was more like we it was hard for us to move forward from a particular stance. And then we have, because we work in a group, right? So fortunately we have others also to kind of break it down to us, because if one person can't see eye to eye with another, then that's where the other teammates come into play, right? They play more of a moderating role. Then they'll like break it down to you. Okay, look, so Ignatius is trying to say this, you are trying to say this, but let's look from it. Let's step back and look from it from a bigger perspective and see where we really are at and how we can actually connect these two ideas together. And that is the good thing, lah. Like you see, like different teammates play different roles, and we were fortunate enough to have people who had a very moderating style and allowed us to actually keep us grounded. So the most important thing I would say is, if you don't see eye to eye with someone, try and take a step back, understand their point of view first before you want to respond, reply, and advocate for your point moving forward. Because I think keeping yourselves grounded is very, very important when you have different perspectives. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ignatius. So I will agree about the point of like communication. Technically, communication is the key when it comes to that. You have to actually talk with one another, because otherwise if you try to keep on proving your point, one point is right, it won't end, and then your work will actually crumble in a sense. We actually have another question here by Sophia.
I think we'll take this as the last question before we wrap up the session.
So she's read throughout the journey of your on ULDP website. She wants to know more about CEO challenge, and do you guys actually think it's suitable for introverts? Do you guys actually think ULDP is suitable for introverts? And how is CEO challenge to you? Yeah, Putri, you can go first. You're so enthusiastic wanting to answer about being an introvert and answering this.
Actually, I would say it's definitely a perfect program for introverts, especially the CEO challenge, because believe it or not, I'm actually an introvert myself. My MBTI says that I am INFP, so I'm a weird introvert thing. Oh my god, no, Sue's like no, nah.
All of us seems to disagree.
But I think maybe the whole like introvertedness didn't show because I've joined a lot of events, and ULDP being one of them, right, where I have to always have like, okay, here's my social side, right? So I think as an introvert, it's very important for you to build that up. It's very important for you to recognize that, hey, although social interaction takes energy out of me, I still need to be able to socialize, right? And because networkings and all that, friendships, hey. So those are all like really, really important. And in terms of CEO challenge for introverts, of course, it'll be perfect for you. There are many, many positions that you can take up. You don't necessarily, if you feel like you are uncomfortable with being the leader and you just don't feel like, hey, I don't want to take up being the CEO or the team leader for the CEO challenge, right? Then perhaps you can just try it out with other businesses simulations instead, if you don't want to take that big of a leap. But if you were to ask me, I'd say just go for it. I think I was the CEO for our CEO challenge, and actually that really pushed me to my limit. And of course, like I was thankful and blessed that I had a really, really great team as a support system. But at the end of the day, it's all about you challenging yourself. Just like how Sue said before, like, she's her own competition. It's all about you versus you. CEO challenge or business simulation, whatever it be, is all about you upskilling. So I would say that if you think that, hey, I'm a little bit shy, I'm a little bit like, I'm not really that outspoken, there are a lot of ways that you can communicate. Even if it's just you chiming in every once and then, and maybe I would say like start slow, definitely start slow. Business simulation one, maybe you can speak just a little bit and then gradually you speak a lot more, right? So by the time that you get to the CEO challenge, not only will it challenge you in terms of your ability to pitch, but also how creative you are and how good you are at designing, So honestly, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, it's a perfect challenge for you because it can really push you to the limit. It challenges you in a lot of ways. But as for me, myself, I would say, yeah, it has helped a lot, not just in terms of business acumen and knowledge and planning and all that, but really just in terms of, I guess coming out on the other side as a different person. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's really true though. It's really, really true. But maybe my friends would like to add on, whether it be from Ignatius or Suraksha. Yes.
I can actually add on to that during even in my cohort. I'm pretty sure in every cohort, there will always be the introvert. There will always be one introvert. However, specifically during my cohort, there was this one introvert in my team who she kept quiet like throughout like 4 business challenges, up to one challenge where she actually had a hidden talent of editing videos and making a video, and we actually won the challenge because of her. So even though you're introverted, during ULDP, try not to be, or if you think it's within your area of expertise, let yourself out, because you wouldn't know, you might be the stepping stone of your team at that point. So yeah, over to you, Suraksha and Ignatius.
I think I would have to say, okay, I'm a little bit of an introvert, and I do remember there are some times because you're actually on a call.
All of
No,
you introvert.
It's true, okay, it's true. We can flip the switch when we have to, okay. But okay, because for our ULDP, it was fully virtual, right? So you are going to see someone on the screen all day, and you have barely any sleep, so you're basically seeing the same face for the next 2 weeks. And I remember there was a few times where I was like, my social energy has depleted. I need my coffee. I need my Monster energy drink. But I think as if you are an introvert, you may feel scared. You may feel uncomfortable by this because you're meeting a bunch of people. You have to work with a team who you're not familiar with. But honestly, it's a good opportunity for you to try and challenge yourself, to try and step out more. Like what Putri said, there's like I think 4 challenges before the CEO challenge. You can actually like slowly, okay, maybe you talk a bit more in each session and so on. But also I do realize that in our group, we also have like our extroverts, our extreme extroverts, Putri, and our introverts also. And we managed to, work well as a team. You don't have to be the most outgoing person to be a great team member or contribute so much to the group. One thing you should know that there are people who talk a lot and share a lot. But there are also some people who talk a little bit, but the moment they speak, everyone stays silent and listen, because the moment they say something, it's such a valuable information or opinion or thoughts and whatever. So you can be that person. You don't limit yourself. Just because you're introvert, I shouldn't join, I shouldn't speak out, I shouldn't share. No, you have your ideas. We want to hear your ideas. So do it, share with us. You know, maybe even your idea will be the idea that we use for the challenge and might actually win the competition or that challenge because of that. So don't limit yourself. And there is a space for us introverts. Don't worry. And if you want to really step out of your comfort zone and to push yourself, I recommend you to go on to be a panelist in the conference challenge. Yeah.
Actually, just to add on just a little bit, yeah, actually, I definitely agree with Suraksha about like, you don't have to be an extrovert to actually excel in a team, because imagine if you have a group of extroverts, it'll be a goddamn Zoom. It'll be a Zoom. Everyone will be talking and no one will ever back down, But I guess let's hear it from Ignatius.
Ignatius, I'm assuming you're an introvert as well.
No, I'm far from being an introvert actually. Yeah, I'm a very extroverted person, but I do have my moments. Yeah, and that ties back in, right, to allow people who are a bit more quiet to give them a platform to express their thoughts and perspectives. And that's a reminder for everyone who, I guess, who pitches in quite a lot to actually take a moment to step back and listen to everyone's point of view and perspectives, right? Compared to just like dominating the mic and leading the team all throughout. Give others a chance to talk as well. But I guess that all this really just ties back onto post-graduation stuff. Like these things, whatever we learned throughout the program, definitely will help you upskill yourself in terms of resume, interviews, and so on. Right? It's definitely going to help you because first thing, if you're from a totally different background, it adds weight to that. You branch out from just whatever you're studied or are studying, and it gives you the edge an edge above others, because not everyone will actually have the same skills that you have developed, or not everyone will actually go through the things that you have. So if I didn't join this program, I wouldn't have been exposed to the business world, the corporate world. And right now, I'm actually still applying the skills that I've learned in ULDP in the different programs. So that's amazing, because whatever you learn here will be useful for you throughout whatever career or profession that you choose to go into. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ignatius. And I'm guessing that's the last of our questions, right, Adam?
Yep. Let me just quickly glance through again. Okay. I think before Danya chimes in, let me just address one question from Joshua. And that question is to do with, let's see, what do you think new challenges will await for the next intake? And what's your advice to those who are applying for this great program now that it's virtual? I think the key word is virtual. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the application process for ULDP, nothing has changed. It's the same process. You have your stage 1, which is the online application. And at this stage, I think if the three or four of us have any advice for you or anyone else who is keen on applying, is don't be shy. Make sure you really, that's the key point. Don't be shy. Make sure that you really showcase what you've done in university in terms of your extracurricular activities. Because again, we're not really looking into your CGPA purely. We're looking into what you've done outside of the classroom. What sort of leadership positions you've taken up, what sort of activities have you run in your campus or for the community that you reside in, so on and so forth. That's what we're looking at. So yeah, at stage 1, make sure that you make sure that you key in every single detail into the application form. There are no more essays. So if anyone's afraid of having to sit down and write essays, it's no longer there. Purely an application form that you just need to input your information in. If you pass this stage, then it's an online assessment. And this is where we, in a sense, look into a candidate's learning agility, how fast he or she can process information, as well as things like culture fit, so on and so forth. And if you pass this stage, which it's done in a really fun manner, it's an online assessment that's in the form of a game. So yeah, check it out. And if you pass the stage, you'll be invited to the final round, which is a phone interview. But if you don't pass the second stage, you still get a report that details your performance as a candidate. So if the purpose of the report is mainly to assist you, or rather to be a guide for you. So if you did not make it through this year, reflect on what the report says, and perhaps reapply again next year if you're still keen. But if you're not keen, then perhaps you can also still make use of the report, take the learnings that you've received from this particular report, and maybe use it to apply for the other programs that you may also be interested in. But yeah, to the final stage just now, the phone interview. That's where we validate everything and anything that you've keyed into your application form. And also, there's one critical thinking question there that we would be quizzing you on, but nothing scary, that's for sure. Yeah. I guess closing remarks would be the intake for cohort 11 of ULDP starts on November 19th, and the application cycle would be open up until 11:59 p.m. to the dot on October 31st, Sunday, October 31st. Yeah. So you have time, yep, but don't wait till the last minute to actually submit your application if you're keen. And one final thing is we are having another Instagram live session with a few other alumni tonight at 8:30 p.m. If you're keen on, again, it's going to be a rather chill Q&A session. They would be delving a bit more into their experience as participants going through ULDP, as well as a bit on the what they do as an alumni of the program with the Alumni Association. Yep. So 8:30 p.m. Tonight on Axiata Young Talent Program's Instagram page. If you're keen on finding out more, and if you're keen on quizzing our alumni, go for it. Tune in later. Yep. I guess that's it, right, Bob?
Yeah, we'll be having different speakers though for tonight's IG Live. So if you want to hear different experience as well, do tune in on our Axiata Young Talent Program IG Live at 8:30 tonight. That's all.
Awesome. Yeah, that's it. Yep. So again, thanks very much to Ignatius, Sue, and Putri for chiming in this morning to talk about ULDP, and to you, Bob, as a co-host. Dania, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Adam. So that marks the end of our session for this morning. So thank you to all our speakers and moderators for giving such valuable knowledge, and to everyone tuning in. So I hope everyone had a good time and got a few pointers on how to ace your application for the Axiata University Leadership Development Program, and to explore many different opportunities and find out how you can grow your career at Axiata. Be sure to visit their virtual booth. And also don't forget to vote your favorite employer as Malaysia's most preferred employer only at the Graduan Brand Awards. And do tune in to Axiata's live session tonight on the Instagram page, and follow Team Graduan at Graduan on social media to be in the know for the future webinars and career happenings.